I'll just give a little introduction and then we can start with our calling the Guru from afar. So each morning of our Hayagriva protecting from all, or protecting all retreat, I've just been saying a little bit about what I found out about Hayagriva. So one of the interesting things is that with the Hayagriva practice, they say that Hayagriva's mandala has not yet vanished, meaning that Hayagriva is still a practice very much alive, living in the minds of living beings, and that it's a practice accessible to practitioners today, not just practice that died out way back with the ancient masters. And in modern times, Hayagriva is like an incredible Hulk emanation of Amitabha and Chenrezig, with the wisdom mother, Vajravarahi, his wisdom consort, as the ultimate Dakini. Amitabha, of the Pema family or lotus family of the five Buddha families, represents the wisdom of discernment, which is the main method Shakyamuni Buddha taught to overcome our attachment and ego. So discriminating awareness, discriminating wisdom. In hectic, dangerous modern times, Hayagriva, the most active and wrathful form of Amitabha and Avalokiteshvara, is the supercharged practice of choice for many, of recommendation by our precious teachers. The power of Hayagriva in our modern world is symbolically and tangibly demonstrated by the 64 sacred places in our world that still exist today, created when Hayagriva battled Rudra or the ego to save the world. So these sacred places exist still in the world today, and we can go and visit them. So the mandala hasn't yet absorbed back into the Pure Lands. The mandala is still here as well on this earth. It's like a connector between the two. The prayers and practices of Hayagriva are really swift and powerful means for dispelling diseases, spirit harms, harm from nagas, land spirits, and all sorts of illnesses like cancer, epilepsy, and so on. And a lot of those harms, especially what's called spirit harms or harm from the nagas, comes because we have disturbed sacred places, or we've just disturbed their homes, invaded their homes. So the 64 power places in the world, the practice of Hayagriva is a living tradition. Although most Vajrayana practices generate the mandala of a visualized deity and then reabsorb the visualization, the mandala of Hayagriva and Vajravarahi is a living one. The sacred places still exist in our world. It is for this reason that Hayagriva practice is considered so powerful and alive. This is why Hayagriva is often called the ruler of the worlds, because he's still in this world. According to the Nyingmapas, all the victorious ones produced glorious Hayagriva and Vajravarahi, who then relied on the skillful method of union free from attachment and annihilated and liberated Matam Rudra, I think meaning ego. They scattered the remains of ego or Rudra's body throughout the 64 power places, the 24 sacred places, the 32 sacred lands, and the 8 great charnel grounds, all of which are sacred to Hayagriva and Vajravarahi. Each place is guarded by a chief Daka and Dakini, who were emanated by Hayagriva and Vajravarahi. As their mandalas are yet to be dissolved, each place continues to be guarded and preserved as sacred fields of the profound Dharma. So this is why it's so important to go on pilgrimage, to actually physically visit these places, so that every layer of our being, down to our very subtle nervous system, gets energized by these sacred places. It also means that these sacred places will continue to exist, because on pilgrimage in November, Geshe Zopa said, if we have to keep visiting these places in Nepal, because if we don't, they'll disappear. Of which they're already half disappeared because they're just now in people's backyards or enclosed in little village squares, and you can't even see them from the road anymore. So they're getting more and more secret. The qualities of these profound Dharma fields are such that through the power and blessings of the Darkas and Dakinis, by visiting just one of them, males will be blessed and become members of the Darka family, and females will be blessed and become members of the Dakini family. How amazing is that? So I've got even more to say about the sacred places as we go through. A little bit more then about the internal sacred places. Hayagriva overcomes Matam Rudra, or egoism, demonstrating the power of the wisdom of discernment in overcoming our attachments, the poison of desire. For this reason, in completion and body mandala practices, more advanced Heis Yoga Tantra methods, these sacred places are associated with the internal sacred places in the body, all the channels and the internal body. So by visiting these places, it magnetizes our own internal channels, our internal light body. So it's a really powerful experience to have. Our acknowledgement of country, seeking to repay the kindness of the very land where we are, which becomes a sacred place physically, because we have the holy objects, because we have the Dharma texts, holy relics. Where we are, Langri Tangpa Centre, and probably your own house where you are as well, becomes a sacred place, a place of safety and refuge for all the beings seen and unseen. So acknowledging and paying respect to the traditional custodians of that area. So where Langri Tangpa Centre is, it's the Jagera and Turrbal peoples, the custodians of the land on which Langri Tangpa Centre resides. So we pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging, and seek to repay the kindness of them and of all other sentient beings. When we call the Guru from afar, our personal, intimate connection with the spiritual friend, the very best friend, often has the face of our Guru, whether it's Lama Zopa Rinpoche or His Holiness the Dalai Lama, but who our Guru really is connecting us with the great Guru Vajradhara. So let's adjust our motivation to a Dharma motivation by reciting this together, calling the Guru from afar. Guru, think of me. Guru, think of me. Guru, think of me. Magnificently glorious Guru, dispelling the darkness of ignorance. Magnificently glorious Guru, revealing the path of liberation. Magnificently glorious Guru, liberating from the waters of samsara. Magnificently glorious Guru, eliminating the diseases of the 5 poisons. Magnificently glorious Guru, the wish-granting jewel, I beseech you, please bless me. Magnificently glorious Guru, please bless me to remember impermanence and death from my heart. Magnificently glorious Guru, please bless me to generate the thought of no need in my mind. Magnificently glorious Guru, please bless me to abide one-pointedly in practice in isolated places. Magnificently glorious Guru, please bless me to not have any hindrances to my practice. Magnificently glorious Guru, please bless me to realize without error the view of the fundamental nature of reality. Magnificently glorious Guru, please bless me so that all bad conditions appear as a support. Magnificently glorious Guru, please bless me to accomplish effortlessly the 2 works of self and others. Please bless me soon. Please bless me very soon. Please bless me on this very cushion. Please bless me in this very session. May I not give rise to heresy for even a second in regard to the actions of the glorious Guru. May I see whatever actions are done as pure. With this devotion, may I receive the Guru's blessings in my heart. Magnificent and precious root Guru, please abide on the lotus seat at my heart. Guide me with your great kindness and grant me the realizations of your holy body, speech, and mind. Think that the Guru is very moved by your cry from the heart, and a emanation of light comes from the Guru's heart, moves gently across space to rest just above the crown of your head and face the same direction as you, and then melts entirely into light that flows down through your crown, and this light comes to rest at the level of your heart, incredibly radiant and blissful. And your ordinary limited sense of self, the narrow view, completely dissolves in this radiance. You become one with the Guru, no separation. You are blessed with the Guru's inspiration. And from this inspiration, then we can draw the connections between our practice and our daily life and how we put it all together. So the theme for today, Hayagriva and War, protecting container and contents. So often we hear about this, the container and the contents. The container, the world, the contents, the beings within it. And on a worldly level, which is where we normally start from, what are we doing to the contents, the people? What are we doing to the container, the earth? When we're thinking about war, I mean, His Holiness the Dalai Lama said the 20th century was a century of war, but the 21st century can be a century of dialogue. And to create harmony and to be able to have a dialogue, we need to have powerful, compassionate speech. So this practice is essential. The only way that we can create harmony and halt hostilities is by beginning a dialogue, a to and fro of recognizing our commonality. And Hayagriva really is all about enlightened communication. So it's definitely the practice of our times. I mean, a couple of wars have come to mind immediately, but it's important when we're talking about them that we don't just politicize it, but we think about it. You know, we think about how the Israeli people, they don't know what's being done in Gaza. It doesn't come on their news, what's being done in Gaza in their name. The Gazan people starving and bombed. A short while ago, it was the Jewish people starving and bombed. As retaliation continues to dominate, then the wheels turn, just creates more and more enemies, more generations of enemies. So we hear about Ukraine, Gaza, Israel, and immediately we become polarized. It becomes political. And why? It's because of how we frame it with our speech, how we think about it, which words we use. Because the moment we say Israeli people or Gazan people, that's actually truly radical. And it brings us back, doesn't it? If we just say Israel and Gaza, suddenly dehumanized. And that indifference, that's what self-cherishing is, indifference to others. And so it opens the door to all problems because there's nothing making us take care. So just by saying in our speech, day-to-day, Israeli people, Gazan people, we'll be able to protect our speech. That's the truly radical stance. It actually frames reality far more truthfully. And of course, the Ukrainian people displaced and homeless, the Russian people, I think of the mothers of all the conscripts living under a dictator. I mean, everybody's in trouble. In Russia, they had Alexei Navalny, the great communicator, always using his speech to practice kindness and cultivate kindness. He actually gave up his life for that and inspired so many in the process. Over here in Australia, we're in a life where we have choice. We don't have conscription. I often think, well, but how would I be and what would I do in their shoes? It's very easy to be virtuous in conducive circumstances. And so we really can take opportunity because of our calm and conducive circumstances to do something really meaningful on a very deep level, create harmony. Just the other day, we went and saw the movie The Zone of Interest, which is an amazing movie. It's very subtle, and it could just be us in Brisbane. I mean, it's a true horror movie in the horrors of self-cherishing. And actually, what made it horrific was the proximity of the suffering, the human suffering, just being so close, and it being so um, easy in a way to be oblivious to it. And why I thought it could be us here in Brisbane or Australia is because we also have this proximity and the same horror because of how we treat our, First Nations people, with the most incarcerated people on the planet, Australian Aborigines, or the children in prison. And here we are on, at best, borrowed land, not ours. And there is a connection because remember when His Holiness came to Australia, and he'd said whenever he flew over Australia, he'd see that red rock in the middle of Australia. And he always wanted to visit it. And so he came to Uluru. And in many of the Tibetan legends, they say that Uluru is in Tibet, they knew about it in the West, this great red rock, and it's a place of the protectors. Lama Zopa Rinpoche said it's a place of the protectors. It's Hayagriva. So when His Holiness came to Uluru, many of us went out took a plane out, a couple of plane loads, and went to the teachings that he gave there. And I thought, well, there's something that we've got to do as colonizers. We can say sorry, and we can say sorry in a deeply Dharma way. So we read the Sutra of Golden Light out at the foot of Uluru under this vast, infinite sky. There's about, I don't know, 20 of us or so, and we read through as an offering, what can we do to repay the kindness? And it was such an amazing thing to do, and honestly, it had a really deep effect on all of us. You know, they say when you read the Sutra of Golden Light, it blesses that entire environment. The other thing that I did was I thought, okay, what can I do personally to make an offering and to create some kind of connection? So I made some crochet. I made 2 crochet rugs, huge, double bedside. One I made a retro version. It had of Uluru with flags and snow lions and a background, all out of crochet. And so I had my suitcase to Uluru filled with crochet. And then I just thought, for some reason, in a bit of delirium, I'll just take a spare. And I'd made another rug, a huge crochet rug of lotus flowers. I just thought, I'll just take 2 just in case for some unknown reason. But my hands were guided by the Buddhas, because when I went to offer these rugs, they took them as the first one, the Uluru rug. I offered that, and they were going to take it as an Inma rug, this ceremonial thing that you sit on when you do special ceremonies. welcoming His Holiness the Dalai Lama. But it turns out that the Uluru Rock, that's men's business, not women's business. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? What about the women? But it turns out the women's business was their emblem was the lotus. So I had the spare, so I offered the spare rug. How incredible. And in my mind it was like, this is a way that I can somehow connect everything and offer a throne to His Holiness by offering this rug for the traditional custodians of the land to welcome Hayagriva in person to Australia. It was so mind-blowing. And His Holiness has said about the Australian Indigenous practices that of all the levels, the 4 levels, just like in the 4 levels of Tantra, it's the same. The way that they teach the practices, it's completely parallel. The only difference is when it gets to the idea of self on that subtle level. But otherwise, the practices and the mandala and the understanding is the same. So this is from the FPMT website. Uluru is especially sacred to the Aborigines who believe the area around is inhabited by ancestral beings whose activities are recorded at different sites where the mandala is still present in this world. And this energy source, the dream time, can be tapped into, and one can access the records of particular ancestral beings from their birth to their death. And Lama Zopa Rinpoche said that Uluru is the abode of protector Buddhas. So Uluru, it's a Hayagriva place. It is literally the red heart of Australia, and it can be our red heart as well. So all of this is a way of connecting our day-to-day life, our conventional reality here in this world system at this time. And we must include it in our motivation. But of course, we can't just leave it at that because it's just for this life. If we just leave it at that, it just creates more samsara. So we must motivate for liberation and full enlightenment. If we don't, it's not Dharma. But we can include from where we are here and expand it out. So we have this incredible environment, the container, and we have the contents, all of the beings. And all of this can be our galvanizing, motivating force for our practice today. So with this, we can take refuge and generate bodhicitta for the benefit of all the sentient beings, including the ones that we have a karmic connection with, those in our country, the First Nations peoples, everybody else who's come, all of us who are migrants, immigrants, and hopefully who all become refugees in the true sense of the word. Taking refuge and generating bodhicitta. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Making sure that the 4 immeasurables become our guiding attitude in this practice. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings be inseparable from the happiness that is free from suffering. And may all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment for friends and hatred for enemies. The seven limb prayer. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind. I present clouds of every type of offering, actual and imagined. I declare all my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time and rejoice in the merit of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until the end of cyclic existence and turn the wheel of Dharma for living beings. I dedicate my own and others' merits to the great enlightenment. And offering the mandala, this ground, anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha field and offer it. May all living beings enjoy this pure land. The object of my attachment, anger, and ignorance, friends, enemies, strangers, body, and resources, without any sense of loss, I offer them. Please accept them well and bless me to be spontaneously freed from the 3 poisons. Idam Kururana Mandala Kamniyatayami. Think that our mandala is very joyously received, our offering of the inner worlds, the pure lands. Shakyamuni Buddha is delighted with our practice, and light streams from his heart, washing down through the crown of your head, washing away all illnesses, disturbances, discomfort, all disturbing emotions, all the craving and grasping. Your body and mind is flooded with a light and with the blissful clarity and spaciousness and wisdom of a Buddha's mind. And in that spacious light, your true nature, you purify the truly existent I into emptiness, because it is empty in reality. And your wisdom, experiencing, fully seeing emptiness, experiences great infinite bliss, a blissful, fully aware, clear mind. And then, moved by great compassion, you arise as the deity or as a body of virtue, depending whether you've had an initiation or not. If you've not had an initiation, then moved by your bodhicitta, you arise in a bodhicitta body, a light body, the product of virtue. So not the product of karma and delusion, but of the momentum of your bodhicitta attitude. And on your tongue, a syllable ah arises, enlightened speech. And this transforms into a moon. On top of it appears a white syllable om, encircled by the white Sanskrit vowels, the ali, standing or arranged clockwise. Surrounding these, the red Sanskrit consonants, the kali, arranged counterclockwise. And around the edge of the moon, the blue heart mantra of dependent relation, arranged clockwise. Light beams radiate from the syllable om and the mantra garlands. The light rays hook back the blessings and power of both mundane and supramundane speech in the form of the 3 mantras, in the form of light, and in the form of the 7 sublime precious objects of a king's reign, and the form of the 8 auspicious symbols. And all these hover around you in the sky, the whole sky filled with these. All the blessings and power of the holy speech from those who are beyond samsara, and even those not yet beyond, all this is hooked back. And think that it all absorbs into the mantra garland and the moon on your tongue in the form of light. The mantra garlands grow brighter and brighter, stronger and more intense. As we recite the Ali, white nectar beams flow down from the mantra and fill your whole body, every atom of your body becoming radiant with this blissful white light. And in doing so, all negative karmas collected with your body from beginningless rebirths are completely purified. Om a I u u ri ri li li a o ang a swaha. Om a I u u ri ri li li a o ang a swaha. Om a I u u ri ri li li a o ang a swaha. Then, as we recite the consonants, red nectar beams flow down from the mantra garland, filling your whole body, every atom of your body glowing red and radiant. And in that blissful radiance, all the negative karmas collected with your speech from beginningless rebirths are completely purified. Om kaka gaga na, cha 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 na, cha 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 na, cha 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 na, pa 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 ma, yara lava, shaka saha sa swaha. Om kaka gaga na, cha 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 na, cha 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 na, cha 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 na, pa 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 ma, yara lava, shaka saha sa swaha. Om kaka gaga na, cha 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 na, cha 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 na, cha 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 na, pa 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 ma, yara lava, shaka saha sa swaha. And then as we recite the heart mantra of dependent relation, dependent arising, blue nectar beams flow from the mantra, filling your whole body. All negative karmas collected with your mind from beginningless rebirths are completely purified. Your mind becomes infinitely spacious and clear with no obstruction, like infinite space. Om ye dhamma hetu prabhava, hetan tekan tatagato, hayavada tekan sayo, nirodha, evam vadi maha shramanaya swaha. Om ye dhamma hetu prabhava, hetan tekan tatagato, hayavada tekan sayo, nirodha, evam vadi maha shramanaya swaha. Om ye dhamma hetu prabhava, hetan tekan tatagato, hayavada tekan sayo, nirodha, evam vadi maha shramanaya swaha. The heart mantra of dependent relation around the edge of the moon grows brighter and brighter, dissolving into the light. And this is absorbed into the middle garland, the red mantra garland of the consonants, which grows even brighter. This too dissolves into light, which is drawn into the middle garland, the white Ali. It grows brighter and brighter, dissolving into the Om The Om melts into the moon cushion, and this transforms into the syllable Ah, white on the inside and red on the outside. And this melts into the pinkish white nectar, red white nectar that absorbs into your tongue, just like sherbet. Your tongue becomes heavy with virtue of the nature of a Vajra. Think, I have perfected my speech. The speech dedication. May my tongue have all the courage of the ones gone to bliss. By the power of my glorious words, may all sentient beings be subdued. May the meanings of whatever words I say be accomplished instantly. So thinking that especially all of the prayers and the mantras that we say become very powerful. So the reason we do the speech blessing in the practice is because speech is the most important jewel of the three jewels. It's often said by teachers that the most important is the speech jewel, the Dharma. The Buddha jewel is our example, and the Sangha jewel is our support. But it is the Dharma that points us to the path of liberation and enlightenment. Even if Buddha is gone beyond and Sangha is not available to help us, the Dharma can always guide us. And this makes the enlightened deities of speech the most important for our day-to-day practice. For this reason, Amitabha Buddha is the most beloved Buddha after Shakyamuni himself, and Chenrezig, an emanation of Amitabha, is the best known of the compassionate family, the Lotus family. The compassionate ones, the Lotus family, represent speech in Kriya Yoga and Anuttara Yoga Tantras. Where ordinary pacifying speech and compassion are insufficient to the goal of enlightenment or removing the obstacles to liberation, then normally a tantric practitioner, a Vajrayana Buddhist, would turn to Hayagriva or wrathful emanations. And even with the imagery of Hayagriva, with the horse head bursting out of Hayagriva's wrathful, fiery hair, the horse screaming with mouth wide open. The horse's roar is like the challenge of the stallion protecting his herd. Apparently, it's a terrible sound, piercing in intensity, carrying for miles in all directions. So from this Dharmakaya, the sound, the wisdom of this horse head, the three neighs, the neigh or the whinny, which arouses the world to the unborn identity of samsara and nirvana. The neigh or whinny, which offers animate and inanimate worlds as a feast offering to repay karmic debts. And the neigh, which then enlists the support of beings and binds them under the oath of allegiance. The three neighs or the three whinnies of Hayagriva, the continua of ground, path, and result. So from Hri and Mam comes transformed the holy body of Hayagriva, the lotus great controller. Hayagriva has 3 faces, right white, left green, and center red black. On the crown, the green horse head with a white blaze, a red mane with a yellow cloth hanging from it, whinnying with a shrill sound toward the 10 directions. The faces all have 3 round, bloodshot eyes. The brows and beards are yellow, shining like lightning. The hair is matted dark brown, like chocolate, beautified by standing upright. Hayagriva has 6 arms. The first right hand holds a lotus and the left holds a skull filled with blood. These arms embrace the mother of great bliss. The remaining 2 right hands hold an iron hook and a club. The remaining 2 left hands hold a lasso and a blazing sword. The upper part of the holy body wears a human skin and a wet elephant hide. The lower part of the holy body is adorned with a tiger skin skirt. The dried skull head ornament is topped with jewels. The holy body is adorned with bone ornaments, a triple garland, each of 50 human heads, dried, wet, and withered, with jewels and the 4 types of snakes. And the holy body is smeared with fingerprints of fat, drops of blood, and heaps of human ashes. Having the Garuda wings of complete victory over the 3 realms. Having 4 legs and standing with right legs bent in the expression of the 9-fold dancing posture. Entwining the right side of the Lord is the secret mother, the lotus dancing one. The color of her holy body is blue-black, with 1 face and 2 arms, 3 eyes agape, and the mouth snarling with bared fangs. The hair, matted and thick, is black like the gloom of darkness. The right hand holding a heart embraces the Father, the left hand holding a great conch shell, a skull filled with an ocean of blood, makes offering to the mouth of the great magnificent Lord. In this way, visualize clearly the Lord, Father, Mother. For the invocation, if you can, holding incense between folded palms. And if you have the implements, then offering music, whatever instruments that you have, at the end of the verse. Really inviting Hayagriva right there from the Pure Lands to inhabit your visualization. So the invocation on the top of page 5. Savior of all sentient beings without exception, divine destroyer of the unbearable hordes of Maras and their forces, perfect knower of all things without exception, Bhagavan, together with your retinue, please come here. The praise just under the mantra recitation. Your pure triple faces are adorned with skull ornaments of 5 Buddha families. 6 limbs are holding weapons in the mudra of accomplishing cities. In the aspect of great bliss, with highly raised dignified horse head, I pay supplication to you, the holy and powerful deity. When we recite the mantra, meditating as much as you can on the meaning of the mantra. Kri is Hayagriva himself, the Sanskrit seed syllable, the very essence, like the Just like the periodic table, like H2O is the seed syllable of water, Kri, the seed syllable of Hayagriva, of compassion, and wisdom, heart of Buddhahood. Vajra Krodha, the wrathful Vajra. Hayagriva meaning horse-faced one or horse-necked one. Hulu Hulu meaning strive, strive. Hum, the great bliss from the nature of the five wisdoms. Pe, cutting down or breaking all the unfavorable conditions of mental construction in order to perceive the attributes of the five wisdoms. Today we'll do the visualizations from the top of page 6 as we recite the mantra from Hayagriva's heart. Countless light beams are emitted. At the tip of all these light beams are all the Buddhas of the 10 directions in the form of Hayagrivas. So like fiber optics, at the tip of each beam are Hayagrivas. All the Buddhas of the 10 directions manifesting as Hayagrivas. And like rainfall, these absorb continuously into your own heart. Just like snowflakes dissolve into a lake, so as these countless light beams are emitted, all the Buddhas of the 10 directions continuously fall into your heart in the form of Hayagrivas. Kri Vajra Krodha Hayagriva Hulu Hulu Hum Pem. 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 Kri Vajra Krodha Hayagriva Hulu. And as the light beams continuously emanate these infinite forms of the Buddhas, think that the omniscient mind of all the Buddhas is received within your own mind. So all the Buddhas in nature, one essence, but each individual, each bringing forth different qualities, different legends, different ways to overcome difficulties, all the variations and ways that wisdom manifests. So you receive the blessings of each one of these individual Buddhas. And feel that as these Buddhas absorb into your heart, they even change the very makeup of your body, that each atom becomes a Buddha, that all the atoms of your body are completely purified, become a Buddha realm with a Buddha within. And as this happens, you receive the infinite, omniscient wisdom of those Buddhas. Completely permeates your mind. And so as the light beams continue to pour forth from Hayagriva's heart, and these countless Hayagrivas absorb into your heart the essence of all the Buddhas, every atom of your body becoming filled with Buddhas, filled with wisdom, till they're just bursting forth, completely energized. Then as we continue, perhaps now with the second mala, think that the power to control all sentient beings of the three realms is received, as well as all the necessary conditions to work for sentient beings and for the teachings, for the Dharma. So in that energized red radiance, think you have received control over all sentient beings to lead them to enlightenment, control over all sentient beings to work for their benefit and well-being. The power of your love, compassion, and wisdom effortlessly controlling the troublemakers, the afflictions and disturbances in the minds of sentient beings. Your whole being so energized by the blessings of Hayagriva that this control over others, this enlightened control, is a natural result. So as you continue the mantra recitation and the infinite and continuous light beams from Hayagriva's heart, and feel the fruition of this blessing becoming strong and stabilized within your mind. Kri Vajrakrota Hayagriva Hulu Hulu Humpare. Kri Vajrakrota Hayagriva Hulu Hulu Humpare. Kri Vajrakrota Hayagriva Hulu Hulu Humpare. Kri Vajrakrota. Feel how your mind becomes blessed and inspired by the inspiration of Hayagriva. This fierce compassion, a deep, active concern for every single living being. And just like the Haruka wings envelop sentient beings in that fierce compassion, subjugating others, subjugating the afflictive emotions, meaning calming sentient beings, liberating them from their travails, releasing them from their negativities. The bliss and peace that we can bring others when we have this power of fierce compassion, and how we are blessed with the ability to have no obstacles, no thwarting in our work for sentient beings. And that in particular, in these precarious times, everything that we do becomes the fierce, compassionate work for sentient beings. And everything that we do in that fierce, compassionate work is guided by the blessings of the countless Buddhas of the 10 directions that are continuously absorbing into us. Kri Vajrakrota Hayagriva Hulu Hulu Humpe. Kri Vajrakrota Hayagriva Hulu Hulu Humpe. Kri Vajrakrota Hayagriva Hulu Hulu Humpe. Krivajrakroda Hayagriva Hulu Hulu Hum Pe. Krivajrakroda Hayagriva Hulu Hulu Hum Pe. And then we will also spend a few moments with the healing mantra practice from Lama Zopa Rinpoche. This was from the Lama Yeshe Wisdom Archive website. So when you practice healing on someone in pain, one method is to visualize the moon syllable Om on your hand, white in color, its nature light, emptiness, purity. Then reciting the mantra while pressing your hand on the painful area. So if the person or the being or the animal is there in the room with you, also if you have your own injury or illness to heal, or distance healing, clearly seeing the person there in front of you and putting your hand with the moon syllable on white and radiant, incredibly blissful, onto the part of their body. And this pool of bliss purifying their physical form and all of the negativities associated with physical actions are just spreading from that area through their whole body. Hri Vajrakroda Hayagriva Hulu Hulu Hum Pe. Hri Vajrakroda Hayagriva Hulu Hulu Hum Pe. Hri Vajrakroda Hayagriva Hulu Hulu Hum Pe. Hri Vajrakroda Hayagriva. Hri Vajrakroda Hayagriva Hulu Hulu Hum Pe. At the end of the recitation, to stabilize the blessings of the mantra, we recite once through the speech blessing mantra. Om a a I u u ri ri li li a o ang a swaha. Om ka 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 na cha 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 na cha 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 na cha 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 na pa 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 ma yara lava shaka saha sa swaha. Om ye dhamma hetu prabhava hetan tekan tatagato hayavada tekan sayo niroda evam vadi maha shramanaye swaha. And the 100-syllable mantra to purify any mistakes in the recitation and to stabilize the blessings. Om Pema Shri Heruka Samaya Manopalaya Pema Shri Heruka Tenupatita Trido Me Bhava Sutokayo Me Bhava Supokayo Me Bhava Anurato Me Bhava Savasiddhi Me Prayata Savakama Tutsame Chitam Shriyam Kuruhom Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Pema Shri Heruka Mame Muncha Pema Shri Heruko Baba Maha Samaya Sapa Ahom He. The concluding prayer is offering a praise. So the praise at the top of page 7. Namo Hayagriva, wrathful activity of the Pema family. Namo Hayagriva, voice of Hri, most powerful of sounds. Namo Hayagriva, most wrathful and beautiful deity, who cuts all root poisons of ignorance, desire, and hatred. Namo Lord Hayagriva, precious horse deity. Namo, horse-headed Hayagriva and consort Vajravarahi. Namo, Hayagriva, you are the wisdom body, speech and mind of all the Buddhas of the 10 directions. The kingly Hayagriva, the Lord of secrets, foremost among the wrathful, the very thought of you crushes obstructing forces. To you I offer homage and praise. Namo, Hayagriva, fiercest manifestation of Avalokiteshvara. Namo, Hayagriva, whose voice is the cry of wisdom, the very syllable free. Namo, Hayagriva, the very embodiment of the speech of all Buddhas. Namo, Hayagriva, who protects the wealth of the household and all horses. Namo, Hayagriva, who embodies wealth, power, and spiritual attainment. Namo, Hayagriva, whose Hri, nay, frightens away all demons. Namo, Hayagriva, by whose power Guru Rinpoche subdued powerful spirits and worldly deities. Namo, Hayagriva, whose hoarse voice cuts through all illusion. Namo, Hayagriva, who cures all illnesses. Namo, Hayagriva, Lord of the horses, sacred to Shakyamuni Buddha, conqueror born in the year of the horse. Namo, Hayagriva, who subdues all nagas, snakes, and sea spirits. Namo, Hayagriva, protector of the Dharma and of all wisdom. Namo, Hayagriva, fiercest Avalokiteshvara, cry out for us now, we implore you. Let your Hri terrify and chase away all demons and evil. Let your Hri protect our wealth and bring us prosperity, Lord Hayagriva. We pray to you to cure our illnesses by the very sound of your mighty Hri. We ask you to cut through illusion and help us and all beings toward enlightenment. I think that our praise is very joyously received. The Toma and tea offering to Hayagriva. So down the bottom of page 8, blessing all the offering substances. Ram Ah, from the heart syllable Hri, Ram emanates. From this, flames in the nature of transcendental wisdom also emanate. Ah is transformed into heaps of unborn blazing light, purifying all the stains of the collected offering and increasing them. Ram Yam come out of the non-objectified state of emptiness. From the heart emanates fire, wind, and water that burn, dispel, and wash away all faults of the offering substances. In all the qualified and expansive, bliss-supporting vessels, offerings of water, sense enjoyments, and music are gathered like clouds. The wisdom nectar of choicest medicines blaze and swirl. Heaps of tomas of flesh, blood, and bones emanate sensory enjoyments. The ocean of Rakta blood is stirred by waves. Everything is mixed inseparably with the transcendental wisdom substances and becomes an uncontaminated, inexhaustible, bliss-giving treasury. Om Aum, Om Aum, Om Aum. The tea offering to Hayagriva. I've prepared cup of tea for Hayagriva in a pot, very similar to the image there. Apparently, it's good to offer the protector prayer tea out of a metal pot. Offering the tea. Hri, Hayagriva, the nine-gated king, fierce and majestic, you have come forth from the heart of Amitabha to defeat the evil designs of humans and non-human spirits. I sing praises to you and your host of deities who vanquish all foes of the Dharma and protect the practitioners. I sing praises to you all. Oma hum, oma hum, oma hum, oma hum, oma hum, oma hum, oma hum. Oma hum, oma hum, oma hum, oma hum. Om ahum, om ahum, om ahum. Om ahum, om ahum, om ahum. Hri, O fierce Vajra, born from the syllable Hri. You, Hayagriva, cast your fierce gaze upon the troublemakers. I prostrate to you who controls the 3 realms. through the resounding voice of Hulu Hulu Hum Pe. Oma hum 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 oma hum. I pray that you partake of the ritual cakes and sacred offerings, multiply your fourfold actions of peace, increase, power, and wrath, increasing the life, good health, merit, glory, and wealth of myself and my retinue and those your yogis, teachers, and disciples. Oma hum 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 oma hum. So that is offering the tea very joyously received. Now offering the torma, which is behind me on the other side. This time piles of red beans, full of beans. So this is the bottom of page 9 from the English from the FPMT Protector Prayers. Cree, inconceivable are the ritual cakes and offerings. The sacred, Cree, inconceivable are the ritual cakes and offerings, the sacred objects for the eyes, manifestations of the primordial purity and spontaneously generated great bliss. May the infinite realms of existence be filled with actual and imagined offerings. Come forth, most secret Hayagriva of the 9 deities and your attendants, Zardong, Bekse Chamsing, at the 5 skeletons and the 8 sword wielders. From the red, blazing triangular mansion, come forth also local gods and landlord spirits with your retinues. With utmost respect, I bow down to you, root and lineage gurus, most secret Hayagriva of the 9 deities, and the host of peaceful and fierce Darkas and Dakinis of the 3 realms with your retinues. I offer an ocean of clouds of offerings to delight you. Guru, meditational deity, and hosts of protectors, overwhelmed by delusions and carelessness, whatever wrongs we have done to your body, speech, and mind, we confess these from the depths of our hearts. Please bestow purity upon us. Root and lineage gurus and Padma Trogyal, Zargo, and Bekse Chamsing, I offer you these supreme requirements. Black yaks, best horses, birds, dogs, and wolves, may your wishes be fulfilled. Having fulfilled your wishes and restored our broken commitments, please help accomplish Dharma practice as intended by the teachers and disciples of Tsongkhapa, the colleges abounding in eminent scholars, and the Dharma centers of the foundation of the preservation of the Mahayana tradition. Padma Yangsang and Dharma protectors, along with your retinues, out of faith, I offer you a feast of ritual cakes, the flesh and blood of evildoers, medicine, and black tea. May you, in your compassion, be pleased to accept them. Cree, Hayagriva, the 9-gated king, fierce and majestic, you have come forth from the heart of Amitabha to defeat the evil designs of humans and non-human spirits. I sing praises of you and your host of deities. Rahula, fierce Chamsing, Sugdog Mapo, and the host of sword-wielding butchers, who vanquish all foes of the Dharma and protect the practitioners, I sing praises to you all. Please help spread, like a sea in the summer rains, the explanation and practice of the teachings of Sutra and Tantra of Jamgong Lama Losang Dragpa, the embodiment of all the conqueror's wisdom and compassion. Prolong the lifetime for hundreds of eons of Tenzin Gyatso, savior of the land of snow, emanation of Supreme Arya Chenrezig, and widen the spheres of his temporal and Dharma activities. Defeat in particular the bad intentions and actions of the enemies of Tsongkhapa, the sea of eminent scholars, along with the teachers and disciples of these colleges, and also the Dharma centers of the foundation for the preservation of the Mahayana tradition. And may they remain uninterrupted in their teaching, debating, and writing. Fierce Vajra, born from the syllable Hri, Hayagriva, cast your fierce gaze upon the troublemakers. I prostrate to you who control the 3 realms through the resounding voice of Hulu Hulu Humpe. sprung from the compassion of the heart of Chenrezig, radiating lights of power, strength, and beneficial actions. You are the jewel accomplishing all attainments and wishes. Yeshe Gompo, I prostrate at your feet. Great Yaksha, attendant at Jumpel, I invite you from the northeast Marutse Cemetery. Come true, red-faced sister Sri Devi, along with the sword-wielding butchers and retinues. I pray that you partake of the ritual cakes and sacred offerings and multiply your fourfold actions of peace, increase, power, and wrath, increasing the life, merit, glory, and wealth of us yogis, teachers, and disciples. Think that our praise and our requests and our offerings of the Toma are most joyfully received. And of course, when we're reciting and you hear about enemies, that's the inner enemies, the enemies of the delusions, the afflictive emotions. And all of the demons are a spontaneous manifestation to perfectly match the power of the negativity with the power of compassion and wisdom. So the more destructive the person, the more destructive the emotions in the person, the more horrific the manifestation is to subjugate those emotions. So not external demons. In fact, the more negative we are, the more they appear like demons, the more frightened. So what's interesting is when we have negativities and we're faced with the terrifying, magnificent form of Hayagriva, what is scared is not us, it's our negativities. It's our afflictions that are terrified. And us, nascent Buddhas, we're blissful and relieved. So the same when Hayagriva pacifies the negativities of sentient beings, their negativities are terrified and the sentient beings are released and blissful. So now we can offer our tea and then have the group dedications. So if you have tea, a beverage, a sparkling glass of water, we can offer that now. Omma ahom, Omma ahom, Omma ahom. Guru is Buddha, Guru is Dharma, Guru is Sangha also. Guru is the creator of all happiness. To all gurus, I make this offering. The supreme teacher, the precious Buddha, the supreme refuge, the precious Dharma, the supreme guides, the precious Sangha, to the three rare sublime ones, the objects of refuge, I make this offering. May we and those around us in all our lives never be separated from the three rare sublime ones, continuously make offerings to the three rare sublime ones, and receive the blessings of the three rare sublime ones. Now we can have our personal dedications. Okay, so there's our dedications. Let's conclude the practice then. And of course, many of you have your own dedications in your heart. Hayagriva can hear those dedications, whether we've said them with words, whether we've written them down, whether we've told other people. Hayagriva knows what's in our heart, and so we just have to make that as clear as possible, and from a Dharma perspective, not from a worldly strings attached one, but just this genuine care for all sentient beings, including these ones here, these particular ones. The dedication prayers on the top of page 12. Dedications. Due to this merit, may I and all sentient beings be guided by the Lotus Victorious One, Hayagriva, as our direct virtuous friend, and quickly achieve the Lotus Victorious One's enlightenment. Without separating from the complete path of the Lotus Victorious One, even for 1 second, may I lead all sentient beings to the enlightenment of the Lotus Victorious One. Due to this virtue, may I quickly become a Guru Buddha and lead all transmigratory beings without exception into that state. May the supreme jewel bodhicitta not yet born arise and grow. May that which has arisen not decline, but increase forevermore. The more dedications, paragraph number 3, under more dedications. Due to all the merits of the 3 times collected by me, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and all sentient beings, may whatever I experience, good or bad, suffering or happiness, sickness or health, praise or blame, gain or loss, good reputation or bad reputation, long life or death, even being born in the hell realms, whatever I experience, may it only be of benefit to sentient beings, that which causes all sentient beings to achieve enlightenment by myself alone. Offering our practice for the health and long life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the very best offering that we can make. The wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. The prayer for the swift return of our precious Rinpoche, who bestowed this Hayagriva initiation and who helped us to do this practice so timely in this world. In holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings through explanation and practice, you wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable, venerable Guru, to you I make this request. And really offering our practice the very strongest way to draw Rinpoche back to this world, back to us, to continue the job. And the long life prayer for all of our precious gurus, including all those mentioned in our dedications, everyone that we have taken teachings from. May my venerable lamas' life be firm, their white divine actions spread in 10 directions. May the torch of the teachings of Losang always remain, dispelling the darkness of all beings in the 3 realms. And concluding with the Migsema, Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-objectifying compassion, Manjushri, master of stainless wisdom, Vajrapani, destroyer of the entire host of Maras, Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snow, Tolosa Drapa, at your feet I make requests. Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-objectifying compassion, Manjushri, master of stainless wisdom, Vajrapani, destroyer of the entire host of Maras, Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snow, Tolosa Drapa, at your feet I make requests. Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-objectifying compassion, Manjushri, master of stainless wisdom, Vajrapani, destroyer of the entire host of Maras, Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snow, Tolosa Drapa, at your feet I make requests. And think that we receive all the blessings of this practice, that spontaneously a gentle rainfall of flowers rains down on all of the holy objects, your statues, stupas, scriptures, and tankas, a manifestation of your virtues, past, present, and future. And that completes our 3rd session of the Hayagriva Retreat. So one more session to go. This next one we'll do in the Tibetan, those various praises and things. Take care and hope to see you very soon.